The girl at the railway station. The evening air at the railway station was thick with anticipation, the kind that clung to your skin and made your breath catch in your throat. Emma stood on the edge of the platform, her hands trembling at her sides. The rhythmic hum of the trains echoed in her ears, but all she could hear was the pounding of her own heart. She wasn't sure why she was there. Why this place? Why now? The station had always been a familiar place, a spot she passed through countless times in her life. Yet, tonight, it felt different. The cold stone beneath her shoes felt like the weight of destiny, pressing her into the ground, as though trying to keep her from moving forward. Emma's eyes flickered over the trains arriving and departing, their lights a blur of motion. She thought of the many destinations they represented, the journeys they would take to places unknown, and then she thought of her own journey, the one that had brought her here, to this moment of uncertainty. Her thoughts were a tangled mess, like the tracks stretching out in front of her. She had always believed she could control her fate, always thought that with enough effort, enough planning, she could determine the path ahead. But today, everything felt out of her hands. Her fingers brushed over the ticket in her pocket. It was a simple thing, a slip of paper that had cost her nothing more than the price of a train ride. But it felt heavier than she ever expected. She had been handed a choice, one that seemed so small in the grand scheme of things. But as she looked down at it, she felt the weight of its potential. It was a crossroads, a moment that could change everything. The train pulled into the station with a sudden screech, its doors opening with a hiss of pressure. A few passengers shuffled out, their faces indifferent, their lives continuing as if nothing had changed. And then, the door swung open, inviting her in. Emma didn't move. She couldn't. Her mind raced with thoughts of what awaited her on the other side. She had always dreamed of escaping, of finding something different, something better. The life she had known felt like a cage, a place where she had long since outgrown. But what if this was just another dead end? What if the unknown was worse than the comfort of what she already had? The sound of footsteps behind her broke her from her thoughts. A man walked past her, a briefcase in hand, his face set with purpose. He didn't hesitate, didn't question the choice in front of him. His steps were confident, his destination clear. Emma envied him, even though she knew nothing about his life. He was certain, she wasn't. The platform grew quieter, the station slowly emptying as the evening wore on. Emma remained rooted to the spot, her ticket clutched tightly in her hand. The train's whistle blew again, almost impatient, and she glanced at the digital display above her. Her train was leaving soon. She had to decide. Now what if I make the wrong choice? Her mind spiraled, filled with fears of failure, of regret. She had always been afraid of making the wrong decision, of being stuck in a life she couldn't undo. But wasn't that what life was about? Making choices and living with them. She looked at the train once more, its doors open wide, ready to carry someone else away. The future, waiting on the other side. Her breath caught as she thought of the people she would leave behind, of the life she might never see again. And yet, maybe it was time to trust herself, to take the leap. The clock was ticking and the platform felt like a battlefield between the life she had and the one she dreamed of. With a final deep breath, Emma made her decision. She stepped forward,